Welcome to another edition of Odoo Functional Training from at Ojo-Bello Limited. Um, Today we shall be looking at the second part of the video that describes the concept of warehouses and locations. So I will be doing this demo with version 7 and then um, basically for basic configuration or using basic configuration of warehouse module in OpenERP. So let's go right inside. I'm going to log in. Okay, I've already set up the warehouse module with some demo data from OpenERP or Odoo. If you look at my setup, let's just go to warehouses and see. You'll find out that immediately you do an installation of OpenERP or the warehouse module in OpenERP, you will get access to this basic functionality where you can see warehouse management. Um, but it's really very basic because, as you can see, no location is visible yet to the user. Okay, the first thing you need to also take into account anytime you set up a new installation, um, in order to improve functionalities or access to several menus that you need for your configuration, you will need to set or give access to technical features to the particular user that you'll be using for your testing or even in a production environment. So I'm logged in as an administrator, and the first thing I usually will do is to enable the technical features for this user who is an administrator. And I'll do that by just coming to this particular form, and then I go to the Access Rights tab. If you scroll down a little bit, you see that in this particular case, I have indeed enabled the technical features. Okay, so it's enabled right there. All right. So once we get that done, then excuse me, we can then go to our configuration and look at what exactly we have configured in warehouses. Okay. Um, Not everything will be set up now, but I'm interested in this section that talks about location and warehouse. And here it says manage multiple locations and warehouses. So we need to have that checkbox ticked. Um, and maybe just do that for now because that's very key. So we need to have multiple locations and warehouse so that we can explain the concept that was described in that first video. So I'm going to click on apply to see how these changes take effect. Okay, still trying to save. Bear with me a second. Okay, so I think it's done now. So if we go back to warehouse and then you just scroll down a little bit, you see now we have warehouses and then we have locations and then our warehouse management as we had it before. So let's look at a warehouse here, a typical warehouse. And there seem to be three of them here. Okay, so if you look at this, for example, or let's look at the Chicago shop warehouse. Okay, and it's got the three locations that I mentioned in our first video. The location input, which is the location which basically um, will be your customer. Sorry, the location where you are receiving stock from your suppliers. The location output, the location where you are, holding stock, awaiting delivery to your customers. And then the location stock is basically the location that holds your actual stock, the stock that you have access to. So if a new customer comes and needs to use that particular stock or makes a request, That request is only possible within whatever is available in the location stock. And you can see it's very straightforward. There's nothing complicated in each of this. Like I said in the other video, um, this locations are set up by default, and all you need to do is just add, your location to it. You create a location within each of this, and the locations you create, can be in a hierarchical structure. Okay, so you can see that here now I have a customer location. Okay, that is part of partner location. So they've created partner locations basically for this local location input and location output, and then they have locations for customers, location for suppliers, and then even under the location for customers you also have European customers and so on and so forth. Okay, these other ones will be more like, maybe they want to uh, uh, set up a structure for the location stock. So you see, they are talking about physical location, your company, and they are actually your stock. So you can define this, and then you can set up, the address for each of the warehouses. Okay. But as we said in that first video, we also need to set up this location. So let's come to locations. And some locations can, these locations are filtered as internal locations. Okay, so there will be the locations within the company, and they are actually stock locations. So you can set them up any way you want. So let's look at one of these typical stock location. So it says, if I put it in edit mode, so I give it a name, so it's a stock location. So what's its parent location? So I've already created a location called physical location, and then under that we've created company, and then this stock will now be under your company. What kind of location is it? So we talked about 8 location types. What kind of location type is this? We talked about 8 location types. So in this case, they've set this up as an internal location. Okay, so as an internal location. So we've already looked at all these kind of locations before. Inventory location, procurement, production, internal location. So this is actually a physical location in this case. Okay, remember that we talked about the view, which is really a node that describes the structure of all of these locations. We don't usually move. It doesn't experience inventory move. We also talked about the supplier location, which is the location basically where you it's the counterpart or partner location for stock that are leaving the premises of your suppliers and coming into uh, your own warehouse. Okay, so that will be the supplier location. The internal location is the location that holds our physical stock. This is what we'll be using mostly if we want to see the exact stock we have in our warehouse. The customer location is the location that describes where we have stock that are waiting to be delivered, basically to our customers. So when we are sending, stock to our customers, this is the counterpart location that describes the receiving location as the stock leave our own warehouse. I already talked about um, the internal location. The inventory location is the location that helps us to be able to make adjustment to inventory. So anytime we have to deplete or increase inventory due to a stock count and reconciliations we are doing from book to physical, then this location will be the counterpart location. Procurement location is usually a situation where we don't know the supplier involved in the purchase, so we don't know the name of the supplier. So instead of having a partner location, like a supplier excuse me, instead of having a supplier location, so it will be a procurement location. Sometimes it could also be when we are not sure, whether the procurement will be made from production. So this then becomes the counterpart location we'll be using. The production location is basically the location that holds um, the raw materials as they are being produced into finished products. So This is where the raw materials are being consumed, and then when the production is completed, the finished products are delivered into this location before they are moved to our physical or internal location. The transit location is usually used for intercompany transfers. So if we're transferring inventory from company A to company B, we'll move it first into this transit location, and then from there we can then we'll move it first from company A to this transit location, and then we can then move it from this transit location to company B. So this is pretty straightforward, and then once we set this up, um, define what kind of location type, give it its address, and then basically some other parameters. We'll not talk about change location because this is definitely a topic for another video. But what I've done in this video is just to try to show us that it's quite straightforward to set up locations, and then our location types, you know, and then see how our location structures, can be configured. If I take away that filter, you see that we actually have more location types there. So we have our view, we have some of them have been set up as internal, some of them are indeed customer locations, some of them are supplier locations. These are all part of the 8 location types that I just described. So setting them up should not be difficult once you understand the concept. All right, so thank you very much for listening, and then I hope you enjoyed it, and then it should be easy for us going forward to be able to set up warehouses and locations in OpenERP. Uh, See you in the other video or in the next video. Bye.